Hello, 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 and welcome to the Rag Company podcast, where you're joined by the usual crew. Dane Hennon, your host. To my right, Levi Gates.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And to my left, Anthony, you have lost some weight.
Still just, wow, I feel like UK cuts over, but...
Yeah, I think he took that a little too hard.
Too much.
Too far.
Yeah.
Too far. All right, well, anyway, he may be a little quiet today, but that's okay. You know, we got stuff we can talk about. Housekeeping-wise, what are we looking at today?
Dave, we don't have a lot of housekeeping. We're in the last 2 weeks before SEMA.
Right.
So for those of you guys wondering, me and Dane are going to be at SEMA this year.
Yes.
And so come down, see the booth, come say hi to us, and come check it out. We're pretty excited about it. Should be a fun show, but it'll be myself, you, Juan, and then your dad, Jeff, and John and Josh, or John and Josh and Jeff, the last three.
Lots of J's.
6 of us. So it'll be good. There'll be 4 J's, 1 D, and 1 L. So we're gonna be hanging out.
Let's just hope when we leave we take a W with us.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Goal.
But we're gonna. So come down, see us. Come down and see our booth. We're gonna have some fun, and we're excited. I think it'll be a good time. So we're gonna have to start, pounding the vitamin C, getting ready to rock and roll.
You do not know where the guests in your booth have been.
Hand sanitizer. So no, this is something though that we do. We do preload, and it's something we've done for every SEMA.
Yeah, it's not a unique thing this year.
This is something that we've done. We used to do this, so we do it every time we travel. And it was something that we'd start before we travel. But SEMA being such a long show on a good year, on a non-pandemic year, you got to remember 186,000 attendees.
You're fried
to SEMA
by the end of it.
So we wanted to make sure that all of us, our immune systems are as operating as best as they can. So your mom would go get us Emergency.
Yeah.
These little packets, and she'd put a pack on each of our desks, a box, so that we could take those every day and then just bump us up just to get us ready for the onslaught of other people.
Yeah.
So we got to get ready to start doing that again just to help us out a little bit this year.
Don't get us wrong. It's fun, but I've never been to an event where
it's exhausting.
Every single time we go, without fail, lose my voice.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah. Well, and this year we're going to be cutting it down. Normally we go for 9 days.
Yeah.
This year we're going for 5. So
why is that?
Well,
exactly?
One, we want to save some money, so we've redesigned our booth this year.
Yep.
We made it a little lighter, a little simpler.
Not using giant metal trussing this time around.
Yeah, and normally when there's 10 or 12 of us, we take the 2 Suburbans and we drive down. This year, we're going to fly because there's only 6 of us. So we got 3 hotel rooms and 6 plane tickets, and we're going to fly down to Las Vegas. Because
usually we rent like a big house, and then it's just like, okay, we're all family for the week.
Yeah, but with the 6 of us, we thought at least we can rent 3 hotel rooms for 4 or 5 days. Shouldn't be too bad. It was a way to make it a little cheaper. And so we're going to be down Monday morning early. We leave here Boise 6 o'clock, land at 6:45. Then we're going to get our booth set up. And because we redesigned the booth to be a very easy setup, we don't have to take the big booth that we usually have. We're still in a big spot. We're in a 20 by 30.
It's actually bigger than previous years.
Yeah, it's a bigger booth.
The stuff we're putting in it is a little different.
Yeah, so we've kind of redesigned how it's going to look, and should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, our next door neighbor is going to be Avery Dennison.
Well, you can't go wrong
So
there.
they're going to be doing raps all week. It should be pretty cool. It should bring a lot of traffic, at least to our booth, which we're really excited about. And segue into that, tomorrow and Wednesday, we have an Avery Dennison intermediate advanced training taking place here, taught by Charlie Trujillo.
Imagine
so we'll have Charlie Trujillo here. We'll have Ryan Allen of Avery Dennison here as well, and then of course Chuck Christensen of Fellers. So should be really cool. And then Thursday morning is going to be a certification exam. So there are going to be folks that are coming. I heard there's a guy coming from Hawaii who's flying in from Hawaii to take this class.
All the way from Hawaii. Wow.
To take the class. So should be pretty cool. This year, I'm actually taking the class, so I'm very excited. Normally, I just sit in and just kind of watch and help, but this year, I'm actually going to try and take the class and participate and work and do this stuff.
Because this one's supposed to be a little more advanced, like you say.
It's
right?
the intermediate advanced, same class that happened in June.
So basically taking more or less the same folks in there and taking the next step further?
No, same class. So
it is?
Yeah, it's the same, same type of class that Josh took.
Lower.
No, same class that Josh Brodel took. So they have a beginner class, then they have the intermediate advanced class. And so they usually say, try and take the intermediate advanced class twice prior to taking the certification exam.
I was trying to figure out.
You kind of go over a lot of the
steps. It's not remedial. It's just take it twice so you can kind of really cement some of those skills and practice. And
be one of those folks that does this every day. Like my wife asked, she goes, "Are you going to take the test?" I said, I'm going to take the class, one, so I can be better versed in vinyl wrapping.
Sure.
That's my goal. And then, because Josh took it and really enjoyed it and learned quite a bit. And so... but he said, gosh, I would love to take the class again.
Yeah.
Just to go over some of the things that I learned. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking is I'll probably take it a couple times and maybe next year or the year after I'll take the certification exam just to see if I could pass it.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I think here at the Rag Company is kind of cool. What's neat is, we want to be able to, all of us want to be able to learn some of these skills and techniques that we want to be able to do so we can help out. Like, if Color Lock does another class, I would love to have Josh in there to learn or, somebody, even if it's Rebecca or somebody who would want to figure out and learn this more so we can help you guys at home and help you customers that give us calls so we can actually be more well-versed in different aspects.
Yeah. If you can prevent an extra step of having to go, well, hold on, let me go ask so-and-so, why not become the person who can just tell them straight up?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And so this is, your dad was very excited about that. And I think he really likes the fact that we're hosting these classes.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be able to put a lot of us through it just so that we all know what we're talking about so we can all be in it and go, oh, okay. So just to help everyone. And that's really what it is. So we've got that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday happening here. That class is sold out, just to let you guys know. So sorry, can't come down and take the class. But it is, if you'd like to, I would recommend for next year, if you've missed out or you wanted to take one of these, go to Avery Dennison, North America graphics.com. I don't know what the actual whole thing is, but averydennison.com. Go to the lowers graphics, and then it'll tell you certifications, trainings, all that stuff, and you log in there and take the class. And for those of you wondering, the class is $899 for the 2-day class, but you get $900 worth of stuff. So not only do you get a free roll of wrap,
there's some bonus attached.
You get a full roll of whatever color or style of wrap you want within reason, and then you also get a whole bunch of tools. Josh says he would absolutely take a Color Lock training class.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's so super cool. That's kind of one of the neat things about that. G. Davis asking, will Dane be making his scheduled appearance in the Prilosec booth at SEMA after enough beer and tacos? Yeah, or tacos and beer? Yeah. Yes. I'm feeling he will. So we got that. Then the bigger news, Dane.
Omeprazole with magnesium.
Bigger than that. We have a sale coming up.
Oh, that too.
Week.
Okay.
This week, guys. So make sure that you are subscribed to the newsletter. Cannot say that enough. Go to theragcompany.com and sign up for the details so that way you don't miss out, because we have a really great sale that's going to be happening this weekend. So get ready. Also, tune in for the live Q&A because we're going to be talking about all the great things that the sale is going to have. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to tell you, we got a big sale. It's our Halloween sale. It's going to be an awesome sale.
You know it's going to be
fun.
For
those of you wondering, Halloween shirts, Halloween sticker, it's in this sale. Oh. So get ready. I saw the shirts. They look dope. Very excited.
We helped refine some of the designs, so that was pretty cool.
Very cool, very cool shirts. So we're gonna have those for this year. So if you missed out on the Scully last year, and you're like, man, when are you bringing it back? Sorry, guys, that's just a holiday shirt. So
that's the way it goes, though. So
we got the new holiday shirt. It's a new one. It's not the Scully. It's a totally different design. So get ready for it because when they're gone, they're gone.
So next time probably won't be the same either. So just know that if you really want one, commit. Just get one.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Well, and I will
gotta
say
wait till
this:
next
if you
time.
guys have not signed up, go sign up, because that is the moment you know when the sale is live. We send the email saying, "Here's the sale. Here it is. Come get it." And if you're not signed up, you're not going to know about it. And who knows? They might be sold out by Thursday's Q&A. You don't know that.
We have experienced some like mad rushes before where it wasn't even a day before the entire stock. And we are thoughtful about this stuff. We try and have enough stuff that it's going to last a while, but can't control what some people are just drawn to. So this may be one of those situations. Don't know.
Yeah, so get ready for that. So again, please, 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 if you haven't signed up, or if you did and you just go, hey, I haven't been getting the emails, sign up again.
Check your junk folder.
Check your junk folder, check your clutter, check your spam, all that stuff. Make sure that you've got it, mark it so that it is notified so that we can do that, because it's going to be really, really great. So for those of you that knew or didn't know, Anthony is out because him and his wife had a lovely baby girl.
A little busy with that.
So if you didn't catch it on the Q&A, he posted at the very end, little Lucy.
Oh,
And mom and baby are doing well. Anthony is on cloud nine. He's having a blast. So for those of you that want to give him some well wishes, hit him up on Instagram or on Facebook.
Just send a message.
Send a message, or even jump into the podcast discussion group and
that's
give
actually
him
probably
some
the best
points.
place to do it.
Yeah, tag him on there, and send your congratulations and all that kind of stuff to the
or your parental
new parents.
advice, whatever you want to throw his way.
That's a really great idea, and I know it's he's really enjoying it. We were laughing. We were in a group text last night. He was sending us pictures of her, and he goes, "I'm really sorry, guys, that I keep sending pictures of her. She's just so stinking cute."
He has that effect where like people who aren't parents don't get it, and then when they become parents, they're just like, I have to.
Yeah.
It's just I have to.
It was really funny, and it was kind of neat to see and go like, all right, cool. Like Anthony's kind of grown up on that sense. So
I think he matured like at least, I don't know what the point system is, but like 5 or 10 points overnight, just like that.
Yeah. So really great, super fun. Normal Anthony though, he sent us a picture and said today's sponsors brought to you by Nito Tire for keeping me warm by wearing his Nito Tire sweatshirt. And then of course our friends at Brooks Running for keeping him light on his feet and comfortable while standing all day. So
he can't help himself.
Yeah. So he was super excited. So hopefully we'll have him he maybe pops in on the Q&A. I don't know. But we've been keeping in touch with him, texting him. I think he's out for at least 2 weeks. Yeah. For sure. And then we'll see. He might be
at a certain point, he'll probably want to leave the house.
Yeah, he might be in a limited capacity, but for sure. And I remember those first 2 weeks. Like,
sure.
So my first child, Hadley, my boss goes, take all the time you need. Mm-hmm. We had Hadley on a Saturday morning, right? He showed up on Sunday, said, take all the time you need, bro. Take all the time you need. And I said,
what a thoughtful,
I was like, wow, it's really nice. Because I told him, hey, I'm going to take a week off. And he's like, okay. And I said, I'm going to take a week off. Yeah. And he goes, all right. And
that's good, because some bosses,
and I said, I'm going to take a week off. Yeah. And he said, all right. And I had it scheduled like on the thing, everything. Yeah. So Friday night, I leave work, knowing that my wife may be having a baby, and him joking like, dude, you might be having a baby tonight. Me telling him, hey, we're having a baby. I texted him at midnight saying, go into the hospital. So he knew. I kept him notified. Oh. Sunday morning, before we left the hospital, him and his wife showed up to see Hadley and all that stuff. And that's when he said, take all the time you need.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
And I said, wow, thanks. Come home Sunday afternoon. We're sitting there. I order a pizza, get some pizza delivered to the house. And it's a wonderful baby seat. He needs to have that. Like, we need to just put that in the racing sim. Yeah. So I go to get home. Right, first day home, Sunday afternoon. It's like 2:00. Okay. Right. I order pizza because I don't know what to do. Right. There's no instruction manual. And you don't have a nurse to talk to.
You don't want to leave the place. You gotta stick around.
Yeah. Carly was like, I'm gonna go lay down, like take a shower or she wanted to take a bath. Yeah. Because we're home, and she wanted to do her thing.
Watch the little one.
So I'm hanging out. I'm like, wow, this is great. Next morning, wake up, do the whole routine, all that stuff. He texts me, hey, what time are you coming in? And I said, I'm off for the whole week, remember? I'm taking this week off. And he's like, yeah, but bro, you've been off for like 2 days so far. And I said, that was the weekend. And he goes, whatever, hangs up on me.
Oh, no. It's giving you attitude.
So
And
I'm
it hasn't
like-
even been 48 hours.
Okay. So then finish out Monday, do our stuff, be home,
Yeah.
all that. You also have they're going to have their first baby appointment. They have to take the baby. It's going to freak them out.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to get home, and then in like a day or two, he's going to have to take the baby back to the doctors to double check with his wife.
This thing's defective.
It's freaky because it's going to be I know his drive home was probably the most nervous he's ever been. The next drive to the doctor's office is going to be like, why are we leaving the sanctity of our house? Like that's what he's going to do. So I go do that. We come back home. I go to grab some stuff. The next morning, wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, or the next morning, 8 a.m., getting ready, all this stuff, going to hang out, feeding Hadley so that Carly could sleep, do all that stuff. About 9 o'clock, get a phone call. Bro, I could really use your help. Now, mind you, at the time, we had 7 other employees.
And
I was the assistant manager, or manager, as he liked to call me. Right? That was it.
yeah.
And so I was like, dude, so I kind of argued with him. And
What
he's
happened to take
he's
all the
like,
time
bro,
you
you've been
need?"
off for 3 days. And I said, you told me I could take all the time I needed, and I already told you I had a week scheduled off. And he goes, bro, it's kind of BS that you're taking 3 days off. And I was like,
People who behave this
So-
way drive me insane.
so he's like, I need you in for at least a little bit.
Stop it.
I need you in for just a little bit. So I tell my wife, hey, so he's freaking out. I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
I should probably go in. She was pissed. I mean, that was the moment. Like, Carly's still mad at me for even saying yes.
Deservedly so.
Right. So I go to work, right? And everybody's like, what are you doing here? I thought you were off for a week. And I said, Danny called me in. And they're like, why? We've got it all handled. I said, I don't know. Danny pulls up and he's like, get in the car. Let's go. We got to go pick up a car. So we go pick up a customer, a retail customer of ours.
Okay.
She sees and she's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? You guys just had a baby on Saturday. He told me. And I said, he called me in to come help drive cars. And she's like, you shouldn't.
And
you
now
should
you're
be
a
home
bad
with your-"
dad for like dropping your responsibility.
You should be at home
Oh
with your
my
wife.
God. Just. Ooh.
Then she gives me a gift. She's like, I got this for you guys. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And Danny, who had a child 6 months prior, was like, kind of
That's
BS.
fresh on his mind.
Kind of BS that you're getting gifts and for a kid, and I had a kid and nobody gave me gifts. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you,
stop.
man. So then we get to the
See, this whole thing
Right.
would have been different if he was just a jerk about it to begin with and be like, nah, you're coming in Monday.
So, right?
And just act
Yeah.
like that. Then you wouldn't have
so I
had like
got
this
there at,
false
like-
sense of.
I got there at like 1 o'clock, right?
Okay.
We go and run this errand, we come back. Then we get back to the shop and he's like, all right, bro, well, it looks like you got it handled, so I'm going to go home. I said, excuse me? It's like 2 o'clock now, right? And he's going to go take the rest of the day off. And I said, no, I'm going back. I came to help you pick up that one car. I'm going home. I'm off for the rest of the week. And he's like, well, I got to go. I was going to take the rest of the day off too. And I said, that's not my problem.
Did you have a child this weekend?
So I left. He calls me a few hours later, furious, pissed at me. You know, you're really trying to screw me over. It was bad. Let's just say 9 months later, a year later, when I got to be able to open my own shop, that's one of the main reasons I opened my own business.
That kind
Because
of
of that kind of thing.
erratic
Yeah.
behavior.
Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
What was it? A case where he literally just didn't remember telling you that?
Yeah,
or was it just like
it was a case of not
straight
just-
up denial?
No, just not caring. Not
Substances
not-
involved.
yeah, just a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Not substance, more just like not caring. Very narcissistic, very selfish.
I can see a narcissist doing that kind of thing.
Didn't
but it's
want.
like,
I was the first kid outside of him to have a kid out of our group of guys, so he didn't like that I had to take a week off.
But don't present somebody with an opportunity that you're not willing to follow through on.
Let's just say that
that's
night when he
just a
chewed me
rule
out-
in life, in social
I was pretty
situations.
pissed, and I went back
Do
to
not
work.
do that
Yeah,
if you're not willing to follow through.
So I went back to work after that. Needless to say, my wife was furious with me. Couldn't
Correctly.
believe that. She was very upset. So then when I opened my own business, she's like, you're taking all the time you want. So I booked it out for a week. And I only went in, I took that week and I think I took like 9 days off. I only went in because I had to do payroll and buy us a minivan.
Oh boy.
That was all I did on one day. And it was like the 7th day after Augie was born. Like, so I'd been home for 7 days.
Yeah.
And
what,
then
what
I went.
vehicles did you have at the time that you needed to get a minivan?
Well, I had the Elantra.
Okay.
I had the Jeep, and I had my 4Runner.
Grand Cherokee or Cherokee?
Yeah, I had a Grand Cherokee, a ZJ. Dane.
ZJ, okay. Yeah, the little
So I had a
boxy
93
guys, yeah.
ZJ that had 250,000 miles on it. It was the best, most amazing thing I've ever owned. It was
They're
so
fun.
great. I missed that car a lot. And then I had a 94 4Runner with 140,000 miles on it. It was a bright red, beautiful car.
So you had two SUVs then.
Two 90s SUVs
Huh.
and the Elantra. Carly got sick of the 4Runner.
Okay.
So what happens sometimes when girls get pregnant, while they're pregnant, they get nauseous, but their brain associates something with the nausea.
Okay.
So every time they see that thing again,
you just can't have it
it's
anymore.
like when you
because
drink
now
a certain type of alcohol too much and you throw it
Oh,
up.
and the people are like,
And
oh,
then
me
you
and tequila are not on speaking
Right.
terms. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Like you
got
smell it and you're like, oh, that.
But
I
it's
don't like this.
it's the linking of the memory with
Right.
Like
Your brain
when
has
people
linked
smell
it.
a certain smell, they're
Yes.
just like good.
Yep.
They lose.
They
it.
link that.
Yeah.
So the same thing happens for
Yeah.
pregnant women, but it's a visual thing too. So it can be
So,
scent, it can be
a
visual.
90s
it can be,
4Runner is
So
now
my wife
no go.
loved this 4Runner. She picked it out. She wanted it. She drove it. She loved it. It was one of her. It was like a
The great trucks.
high school dream car kind of thing. So I got her one, and it was cheap. And then anyway,
Yeah.
she got nauseous in it, so she had to drop it. She basically was like just parked it and wouldn't drive it. So I put it up for sale. Sold it to my sister-in-law, thankfully. But sold it to my sister-in-law the day we got home from the hospital. She was there watching Hadley. So she's like, hey, I want to buy that. I canceled my flight. I'm going to drive it home. Here's a check. She's like, how much were you going to sell it for? And I was like, $4,500. She wrote me a check, $4,500. Here you go. I'm like, thanks. All right.
Oh,
So
look at this color commentary weighing in.
400 is way better than the Jeep. Thanks. Yeah, guys.
We got a lot of Toyota fans in the back here.
Hey, guys, I bet you Anthony's baby ran 3 Honda Civic spoon engine. Yeah. But point was, so I had $4,500 and I was like, great, I just sold a car you were driving.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you're going to drive the Elantra with 2 car seats because I tried it. It doesn't fit.
It's tight.
So I was like, I have to get you something. And so while I was doing payroll, we had a black Town and Country from the dealership sitting in there. And I walked over, I was like, how many miles? This thing has 99,000 miles on it. It was like an 03.
Yeah.
Black, 2-tone gray leather in it. Had the light gray and dark gray leather. I was like, this thing's really nice. Like I went through the carpets. It was spotless. I mean, immaculate. I said, what'd you have to do to this to Matt? Matt's like, nothing. I washed it, vacuumed it. Thing's immaculate.
Very often the Town and Countries were owned by like older folks or very well taken care of.
So that's what it was.
The Caravans are beat to hell.
Yeah.
But the Town and Countries were
So I called
quite well taken
and I
care
said,
of
how much you guys want for this minivan? And they're like, oh, $7,000. And I was like, this thing's really nice. And they're like, dude, it was traded in by an old couple that bought it brand new and used it for road trips to visit their grandkids. That was their road trip car.
That's
that
exactly
was it.
what my
That was
aunt
the
did.
only reason.
She bought one for that exact reason, and they loved it. They loved it.
So they traded in and had bought a new one. And so they traded it in and bought a new one. And so he was like, yeah, dude, you can, if you want it, I'll make you a deal on it. And I was like, perfect, because I got $4,500 sitting right here in cash.
You're like, that kind of deal?
Yeah, so I traded, so I bought the car. I think they gave it to me for $6,000.
Okay.
And then I only financed $2,500, so it was cheap.
Yeah.
And so I take it back home, and I show up, and I'm like, I was gone like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm home. Here's a van. She's like, oh, wow, cool, awesome. That'll be great. That is really cool. Like, she actually liked it, but then she's like, why'd you have to leave? And I said, because I had to do payroll. She's like, you can't have anybody else do payroll? I was like, no, I'm the one that has control of that. But needless to say, I tried to do it better the second time around.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, we're trying to give him as much time home as we possibly can. Dane, what'd you do this weekend?
Oh, this weekend, you're going to laugh. Oh, the classic. I changed the light bulbs
some light
outside of my
bulbs.
house.
Nice.
They were starting to look a little tired. They had
kind of bulbs
sensors
did you
on
go
them.
with?
If you recall, if you go back
Yeah.
several podcast episodes, you'll know I installed some nice bulbs that had like daylight sensors
Ooh,
on
so
them.
they'd turn off at night, turn back on.
Excuse me. Yes, so that they would. Wow, excuse me. Just about to sneeze there. So they would turn on when it got dark outside, which was great because I don't like leaving the lights on all day if
Yeah.
I don't have to, but I also don't like getting home and the lights aren't on because, we're both out, Liz is at school and I was there. And when we get there, it's just dark. I'd rather just have them on. So, yeah. I found with the sensors, though, that eventually they get kind of fogged up and, the
dirty,
housings and the bulb, unless you're like cleaning them every day, it's spider webs, all that kind of stuff on their way out there. I mean, it's festive right now, but it's not really great year round.
Yeah, well, you didn't have to decorate with the spider webs.
Yeah,
like
no, the
your
spiders
house.
did
You
that
leave
for
them.
me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I decided this time around, you know what? Screw it. I'll just put regular bulbs in there. But I found some good LEDs that were 100-watt replacements.
Oh.
They're very bright. But I hate, this is just me. There's a lot of people out there. Are you fans of bright white versus daylight bulbs? Because I find daylight bulbs kind of repulsive.
Yes, me too.
Personally.
Yeah.
I do not like that blue light. I don't care how realistic or accurate it is.
So
It just is not pleasing.
So I am one of those weirdos and Matt is like this, Matt.
Yeah.
From Obsessed. I remember he talked about he bought his house, the last house that he had, not the new house, but the last house. He had said, my wife was mad at me because the first thing I bought before we even moved in was light bulbs, and I changed out all the light bulbs.
Yeah.
And I laughed because that's also the first thing I did when we bought our latest house. That was what I did.
It's like I buy a car, I change the oil. I buy a house, I change the light bulbs.
I change the light bulbs because I want my color temperature because there's nothing that skeeves me out more than bad light.
Daylight, blue light,
Yeah.
or just like weird fluorescence or soda vapor lights or
I've
whatever.
gone into
that are way
friends'
off.
houses and they've got these gorgeous light fixtures and then they have just a daylight
The
bulb
most
in there. and I'm like,
hideous bulbs.
"Oh, that is not welcoming at all in your
no.
living room. You can't read by that. And they're like, it's so bright in here. But
Bright, but it's like...
as we sit in this room with all these different colors,
I was going to say, there are many different color temperatures going on in here, but none of them are daylight.
Yes, that's
So,
correct.
yeah. You know what daylight should be reserved for? Actual daylight, the sun. Like,
So
that's fine.
So like
That's
my
fine.
garage, I have 6,500 Kelvin light bulbs,
Yeah.
which is the daylight temperature.
Right.
And I have that in my garage, but I like it in my garage.
Sure.
Because I need it like that.
You need the most accurate version because you're
And it
polishing,
doesn't-
so it looks good out in the
Correct.
sun.
And my garage, when you walk in, it doesn't feel like a blue light
Right.
because of the way it's set up. If I put those bulbs in my house, then it's like, this
Forget
is not
that.
a good thing. Yeah. So
We don't need to see every imperfection in our skin and all that. No, thanks. But that's a very specific pet peeve. But I think I share that with a lot of people,
Yeah.
you included. So, yeah.
So changed out, got
That
some
one,
nice temperature
swapped
light
them
bulbs.
out.
Nice.
Looked at them at night, and oh my God, my house is the brightest thing on my block
Nice.
now. They are stupid bright, but at least now I don't have a freaking out flickering one at the end, which has been going on for the last 4 months. The sensor couldn't quite decide if it was time to go or time to stay on. It was stuck there. So I got those swapped out. But some other things I did, I've been driving the van so much lately that the other cars haven't gotten a lot of attention. But that's just because, it's fun, it's exciting, it's new. But I'm
Yeah.
also like trying to get stuff done with the van. So I did set myself up, scheduled some time where I'm going to get new stereo stuff installed in it. Just because the van, I want it to be like a road trip vehicle.
Yeah.
It's going to be slow, but I just can't wait to like go up north in the snow with it. It's going to be fun. I'm excited for that. So I did run several errands where I was just trying to figure out like, okay, wheel and tire situation, drop by Les Schwab, see what they can do about that kind of thing. What I'm realizing is, everywhere I go, I knew this in advance, but I just wanted to see for myself. Most people are going to look and go, what's that? Instead of just figuring it out for myself, get the measurements and move on from there. Everybody looks and goes, let me type that into the system. I'm like, you're not going to find it in your system. Yeah. The closest thing you'll find is an 89 Toyota van. That was the last time they imported this vehicle here to the States.
Yeah.
And most of the stuff that would fit that 89 van would fit this. This is just the evolved version of that.
And, your model.
Yeah, but like tire and wheel wise, I think they're virtually identical. But yeah, so it's a 5-on-5 bolt configuration, which is like 5 by 139.7. Same
which you
deal.
can find wheels for.
Yeah, and that's fairly common. Where it becomes tricky though is the wheels on that are 14 inches, and then you have the tires. You're talking about, I want to say they're probably like 25 or 26 inch right
Total
now,
all the way around.
all the way around. So. You got some sidewall, but you don't
circumference.
have a lot of space to play. I think I'm maxed out from what I read online until you start cutting things. You're maxed out
lifting.
around the 29
Yeah.
and change kind of area.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you start to run into the pinch points at the bottom. The alternative, of course, is lift it.
Yeah.
So I want to look into lifting it maybe a couple inches, which some people who've driven these kinds of vans know, it's kind of seesaw, it kind of wobbles, but you know what? 2 inches of height, I don't think you're necessarily going to be that much worse with the seesawing. It's going to be more or less the same. And more ground clearance is more safety when going off-road, doing stuff like that. And I want to use it off-road because while my Toyota Tacoma I had was a great truck, like fundamentally, all the things it did correctly. The couple things I didn't like about it were it's so competent, it's boring.
Yeah.
But it's great off-road. Like, that was really enjoyable. That's where I enjoyed it the most because it was a TRD off-road. It's meant to do that stuff. Kevlar tires. I don't have to worry about popping a tire or anything. It's pretty solid. But it was just one of those things where I got bored with it. Yeah. Whereas with this, it's so quirky and weird. I am not going to get bored of it. I can tell
might die, and that's
already,
the fun
and
part.
It's exciting. It reminds me of driving the Miata, is what I said. And people are like, "How so?" And I'm like, "It has no power, and it just feels like you're driving a tin can." But I love it. Like, I don't know what to say. I just love it.
Yeah.
But that part's fun. So I did do some looking around. I got some stereo stuff I'm working on. I've got a new head unit going in, and what I got was it's a single DIN unit, but it has a double DIN size screen. So it's like a 9-inch screen. It's actually larger than most of the double DINs because it's not fixed into the actual stereo face. It actually comes out a little bit and it swivels, which is great because if you've been in one of these vans, you know it's kind of placed lower on the dash. So like if your gauge cluster is just below eye level here, the stereo is to the left and down below some vents and some other stuff. It's designed so you're not looking at it because, hey, guess what? Back then, they were knobs. You just reach for them, hit the thing, and that would be that. But now everything's got a screen on it, so what do? So in this case, I'm going with an actual touchscreen unit, but it was important to me have an actual tactile knob that I could turn for volume because this trend of all the volume controls on modern head units being plus and minus buttons drives me nuts. And I'm a Pioneer guy at heart. I love Pioneer systems and stuff. I normally wouldn't look twice at like a Boss system, but in this particular case, I saw one that had some decent specs. It was a 9-inch Boss system, and it had a physical knob. And unlike the other Sony units, which had knobs on them, they were all placed off to the left, which if you're in a right-hand drive vehicle, that's way over there. Yeah. So it's a small consideration.
If you're in a left-hand drive, it's just
it's right next to you. But because they're all designed with a U.S. market in mind, I'm like, I'm not going to fall for that one. I'm not going to do something that I may think is kind of annoying now. It's going to be more annoying later. So I'm going to just nip that in the bud, not do that. This Boss one has the volume right in the middle. So it's the best I could find and still have all the fundamental controls still close at hand. And the fact that the screen swivels means I can turn it a little bit towards the driver and face it up. And if the passenger wants to control stuff, turn it over towards them. It's great. So I like that little bit of flexibility. I had not seen something like that before. I know they have like the Pioneer deck they had there was like a DVD player and all. I don't need a DVD player. I just need a media player now. But it like did the whole 90s swoop out kind of thing. And I'm like, that's fun and cool, but when the motors break, you're going to regret that. So I'm just skipping all that and going to this. So I'm really happy with it, but I also got a Hideaway sub that I'm going to slip in the back.
Nice,
like 150 watt, nothing crazy, but it's enough that I can at least have a little bump in it.
Well, that'd be good.
This is a very basic fan. It has 4 speakers in it. So I'm
4 speaker locations.
4 speaker locations. I'm replacing it with 2-way. So that should be a little bit of an upgrade. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at now. And what I wanted to do was get a baseline system installed in here, figure out what works, maybe what doesn't, and then open myself up to the future of like, okay, maybe I want to install some more stuff in here now.
Yeah, maybe you want to do some custom stuff.
Leave it open for future stuff because with that hot roof, there's a lot of opportunities. You could just mount something in the ceiling or something and not affect your storage area, which is appealing to me. But anyway, that was one thing I was looking at. The wheels and tires were another. Didn't have a lot of luck at Les Schwab, but it was funny watching the guys hunt for a while. And actually, they were really excited. They're like, that's so cool. Can you tell us more about the van? And the guy was blown away when I told him it was 4-wheel drive. He's like, really? Oh, man. And then he's like, wait, I think I heard of these. It's like, is that like a Delica? And I'm like, close, but this is Toyota, equivalent to that. So it's the Town Ace, and it's like, why do they have such goofy names? I'm like, it translates
you didn't see
funny.
Super Extra on the back there.
Super Extra cracks me up every time. So with that badge, I want to debadge it, but then I want to repaint the badges so that get a nice little finish on them. I think it'd be really fun to still have those. So anyway,
I think that's cool.
I did some hunting there, but I took the truck out, the big truck, out for a drive. I've been quietly shopping around amongst other people, seeing who's interested in potentially buying it. So somewhere in the not too distant future, I probably will end up selling that, just because I feel guilty letting that thing sit out in the rain and all that stuff in my driveway, knowing the kind of person who usually could afford a truck like this would have a garage or an RV bay or something big enough they could store it inside, at least under some covered area. I feel like I don't want to let that truck's lifespan, get shortened just by sitting in my driveway all the time. I realize not everybody has that luxury, but for me, I just feel like somebody else will probably appreciate this more. I enjoy it. Like, the novelty is fun, but for my tastes, it's the sports car and the right-hand drive van, and I'm happy. So yeah, that's just the way it goes. But the big truck's awesome. Somebody out there who loves big trucks will definitely like that more. But so just something to consider. But I took that up Bogus Basin, which I have
that's impressive.
Never taken that up there before. I used to work up Bogus Basin as a busboy at the lodge there. That was my first job, actually, back in middle school, or I guess it was close to junior high. Yeah. Anyway, I worked up there at the ski lodge, cleaning up people's tables in the cafeteria and stuff. So I had a lot of experience riding the buses and vans up and down that road. So I know that road pretty well. But I had never driven a large vehicle other than like my Montero or Tacoma or something, not that large, maybe a Suburban a time or two. But I'd never driven something like a dually F-350 lifted and all that stuff driving up that road, because it's a narrow-ish mountain road.
Me and the Suburban, when we were doing our V8 Bros video.
Yeah. It's exciting.
I've driven Bogus many times with the Suburban since I've owned it, including in the snow.
And that's probably the limit of what's tolerable.
It's pretty tight. And so you see bigger trucks like that are servicing Bogus, like the big food delivery Cisco trucks and things like that.
But you don't see dualies going.
You don't ever see a big dually cruising up there, especially rolling on 37. So it was one of those that I could see a little more white knuckle action for you going up. So
so the main thing is, on that road, there's no overflow past the lines. So basically, when you're going there's no shoulder. It's just a concrete barrier, which normally I give myself a little margin of error. That's what it is with the dually, is I can spot it pretty carefully. But when you're on a twisty mountain road, you are constantly adjusting for that the whole way. And you have traffic coming down the other way.
And bikes.
And cyclists. Not even just motorcycles, but cyclists. You won't hear them coming. They'll just appear all of a sudden.
You turn around the corner.
Oh, no. And just because I pass them with the front, 3/4 of my truck, they may not make it past that dually in the last quarter there. That might sneak up and just bam, and I don't want that. So
how many cyclists and motorcyclists did you run over?
Fortunately, 0.
Oh, good.
But I did not take it slow either. I was driving up that road with purpose and vigor.
You got 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun driving uphill in that thing. Downhill, feels a little sketchier, but it's just because you're so tall. But I would say it was pretty fun, if not for the fact that I was constantly paranoid about my rear tires. However, the whole reason I went up there was because a buddy of mine, Monib, who's a photographer, was going up there, and he just said, "Hey, anybody driving Bogus today?" He said both Saturday and Sunday. He'd be up there, and he'd just be taking like free photography for people. You give them their pictures later or whatever. But if you drive by and you're in something cool, I'll take some pictures. And if I know who you are, I'll send it to you. And if I don't know who you are, I'll ask somebody until I find out who it is. Because, car community here is only so big.
I could have gone up there with the Elantra.
You probably could have. Who knows? So, it was basically somebody just threw it on Instagram. I'm like, I'll go up in the truck because that's just kind of ridiculous. So I go up there. There's no other cars there. When he started, he had like an Audi R8 next to him and some other things. So like, oh, that's kind of cool. But he was going up on his little Honda CB motorcycle. Like, he has like a cafe racer style 70s bike. And he went up there, and it was just him and a bunch of other guys on bikes. So I show up, and I just look totally out of place. But they all wanted to see the truck. I showed them the lights and stuff. They were all excited. played the horn for him a
Yeah.
couple times out there because I'm like, we're far enough from the houses. Scared the ever-loving hell out of some people. But yeah, that's probably the first time I've used the horn since
Yeah.
someone else. I don't use the horn in regular practice. It's when someone else asked me.
Well,
hey,
I think the last person to
thing?
ask was when Ram was here. We had to honk the horn for
Yeah.
Ram so that he could feel a little American
Because you won't
action.
believe how loud that thing is until you're right there with
Yeah.
it. You think you're ready, but no, it's like 4 horns, not just one. So anyway, did that. And then I told the guys, you better go on down the hill before I do, just because, safety. And they're just like, oh, yeah, please don't run us over. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to see unless I turn on this camera. You go on ahead. I'm going to be slow going down this hill anyway. I could just tell already. I need to take a minute. And that was fine. But when I went down the hill, they ended up right before you get to the last curve where it goes down to the neighborhoods and stuff. They were all down there at the bottom, like they'd gone a couple minutes ahead of me, and they're all just sitting there like, come on, honk the horn. So I did it on a Sunday night. Sorry, guys, blew that horn. It was pretty fun. But they might have gotten a picture or two of me doing that.
Nice.
But it was fun.
That is fun.
So,
That'd be
yeah,
fun.
did that, and that was pretty much the extent of my weekend other than catching up on, like, the morning show and Ted Lasso and other things like that. Got a little of that in. But, yeah, overall, pretty chill weekend. Didn't do a lot. Maybe went for a few walks. Got a little exercise in.
Yeah.
And watched the original Bad Boys, which I hadn't watched in a
very
while.
nice.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just kept it simple. And how about you? How was your weekend?
It was very good. Umberto, Anthony, and his wife had a little girl, and they named her Lucy. So
Yeah.
there you go. So I had a pretty normal weekend. Friday night, we kind of just hung out, chilled out. I got some meat on my way home, a little carne asada.
Okay.
Brought it home and cooked it up for the wife and kids, and we tried to force feed our children steak again. My children are very strange.
Any luck this time?
Yeah, they eat some of it.
Some of it.
Yeah, some of it.
Just some.
I'm blocking the garage door. They need my keys.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay.
I don't know what they're gonna pull in, but basically ate some food, enjoyed our little evening hanging out with the kids. Friday night, my buddy Brad dropped off his AMG GT.
Yeah.
He was leaving for Atlanta for the week, so
Lovely car.
yeah.
That thing.
So he dropped it off. So just kind of needed it spruced. He's like, we bought another house, so I used this car for some moving, which I probably shouldn't have done. He had marked some of the white carpet.
It's a fastback sedan. It's not really a wagon.
And
the amount of
Dane, here's
space
the
back
thing.
there is
the
comical.
back opens up, and just the two seats, bucket seats on the front or the back seat, fold forward, but the middle section does not fold.
What?
It doesn't make
Okay,
any
I've never
sense.
actually looked to check that, but that
So I was like, well, that is awkward. So he was putting stuff in and sliding it. It's very not practical.
are the back sides of the seats, is it like felt or leather?
carpet.
Carpet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I wanted
it's-
to make sure it
but
wasn't
it's
something you could
cream.
tear or scratch.
No, it's cream carpet.
So it's very light color, so you got to be careful.
So he has a black WeatherTech liner for the trunk itself.
That whole interior, for those who don't know, it's actually appeared in a video or two of ours
It's
where you're working on
4
the interior. Very
buckets.
light.
It's 4 buckets in white
Very
leather.
light. Yeah.
And cream color carpet, cream and white door pan. It's very bright. So the biggest
Beautiful
problem with
pictures.
that car is he's the only one that really drives in it. So him getting in and out, he gets it dirty. And then his suits and his jeans stain the
Transfer,
leather.
yeah.
He has a lot of dye transfer on there. So I've sealed them using the color lock kit, but he brings it in. Last time I had it in, it was in May, and I cleaned everything and then I coated the car.
How long does that generally last, the protection on
6
the leather?
months, 6 to 9 months.
Even with him
Yeah.
getting in and out?
Yeah,
it's
so
okay.
I cleaned it. I
Okay.
just used a little Express on a towel, wipes right off. It was no big deal. And then I just resealed them. Steamed the carpets just to get that black out. Used a little carpet buster or a carpet bomber on it. Mm-hmm. Got that out. So tonight I'm going to wash it and probably hit it with some C2V3 or bead maker or something.
Yeah.
And then take it back up to him. It doesn't need a lot. I just coated it 5 months ago in Legend. And so I'm just going to kind of spruce it up, deliver it back to his place. And then Saturday, the Thunderbird got dropped off.
Which is the car in the thumbnail of this video.
So on the Master of Shine at Home podcast, the latest episode, I talk about the Thunderbird and I talk about the history of it and its history to me. And so it's very exciting to get that car in. The paint job on that thing is insane. For those of you guys wondering, that car is going to be going to the Grand National Roadster Show. I'm not going to be posting any pictures on social media until the Grand National Roadster Show. They're trying to keep it very under wraps a little bit.
Well, whoopsie, putting
it's all right,
the thumbnail
Dane, that's all right. But they just don't want to hit. They basically were, he was like, I don't want to, because they've been posting pictures.
Oh, okay.
They've been posting pictures on their Facebook, but they're a father and son with maybe 100 people
between them.
them. They dropped it off to my place and they said, hey, take as many pictures and videos and do stuff you want. We kind of want to don't post them until January because you have way more followers than I do. And I said, no, totally fine. And this, I don't think it's a big deal. So,
sure.
But the car itself was owned by Bill Carter. Bill Carter is a famous car painter. And he worked with a guy named Larry Watson. Larry Watson was also a very famous car builder and painter. And Larry Watson would kind of design what the paint job was going to look like. And he would mask it all out with Bill, and then Bill would shoot it. And so Larry was notorious for his fades and his panel jobs. Bill was notorious for his patterns and kind of experimental style stuff. Bill used to paint a ton of drag racers and all kinds.
It reminds me of like classic like Barris style cars.
And they used to paint cars for Barris too.
That makes
two
sense.
of them. So Barris would build a car and then he'd go, man, it needs a Watson paint job, and drop it off at Watson's shop, and Carter would paint it.
Just that mid 60s aesthetic kind of low rider kind of car.
And so Larry Watson built a Thunderbird, called it Vino Paisano, and that car has been in tons of magazines and traveled the show circuit and was really cool. And Bill loved that car and said, I think I'm going to make my own and do it my way. And so he bought a Thunderbird and was starting to work on it and getting it put together and stuff. And then he passed away, got sick, passed away. So Marcus Sullivan, who's the kid that owns this car, he is a painter. He's working at being a custom painter, and he's an artist. So he loves the history of that car and knows that history inside and out. So he talks to his dad and says, what if we bought this Thunderbird, finished it the way Bill wanted, did it as a tribute to Vino Paisano, the car, and this one for both for Larry Watson and Bill Carter. And then we take it to the Grand National Roadster Show, which is the start of this hot rod season car shows. And it's like the main one. That's the start for Riddler, Grade 8, all those shows. Starts Grand National and then makes its way across the country. Usually ends, I think, in Detroit for Grade 8 and Riddler judging. So Grand National, though, you get it in there, it's a big deal. It's going to hit all the different show stuff. So that's the plan. So they're bringing a ton of the old pictures of the car. They've got the old rendering. Steve Stanford, who's a professional automotive designer, did a rendering for them of the car for what it's supposed to be. Did it for Bill Carter. And they got a copy of that, and they hung it in their garage and stuff. So for myself, you guys can go to the podcast, listen to the Master Shine at Home podcast, the latest episode, and you can hear me tell my story as to why that's important to me. But I've got the car in my garage for the next month. I'm going to be fully wet sanding and cutting and polishing this car to get rid of a lot of it's all out of the gun. It's got a lot of junk in the paint. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it because it's really going to pop.
You don't do this very often, like this level. Usually you're reserving that.
Yeah, I try to do maybe 2 or 3 of these a year total. And honestly, I probably should be charging a lot more than I did, but this is more of a fun, once in a lifetime kind of hero project for me. So it's just one of those things that I've always wanted to do. And so that's kind of why I'm charging a little less. I'm charging about what my monthly rate of detailing, taking up the time in my garage.
You're just making sure you're not losing money on the proposition.
And so very excited, but it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be cool and it's just fun to be a part of it because I know the father and son team very well. And a lot of friends have really helped out. You know, Sean McNally, who did all the paintwork for the WRX, and you guys, he's best friends with Jason Kilmer. He loaned his paint booth to them to shoot it. PPG helped donate a lot of the paint for this project because PPG Paul helped paint this, and with Marcus, the two of them tag teamed a lot of the stuff. So Marcus would do the white, Paul would do some of the purple.
It looks like, depending on the light, it could almost be like a PPG purple.
It's got five or six colors in it. It's really cool. So the two of them did a bunch of stuff. So it's really neat to be one of the names that are going to be added onto this thing. And so I'm very excited about it. So that's kind of what I'm working on. So that was my main, it came in. I didn't touch it yet. Sunday morning, we woke up. I took the kids. Saturday night, Carly went out, so I took the kids and took them up to Terry Day Park. We grabbed a pizza from Papa John's because Augie loves Papa John's, and headed up there. Ate the pizza at the park, which they were like totally like it's like a picnic. Oh my gosh! Like they were so excited. So we went to the park. They love that park because it's got a zip line on it, and so they play on that. But that was also the night of the football game. So Boise State was playing Air Force, which meant a flyover. So we were leaving the park at 7:00 and we're pulling out, and I look across at Federal Way, right?
Yeah.
And there's those pull-offs that you can park and overlook and look at the city. So there's all these people lined up. And I'm like, what the heck are all these people like lined up for this? Like, yeah. And I'm like, this is weird. And my daughter goes, maybe they were going to watch the football game. And I'm like, yeah, you can't watch the football game from there. You can see the stadium lights, but that's it. And then all of a sudden I look up, and there are two F-16s and two Warthogs.
I was saying, you won't hear it
flying in formation
as it's flying by.
Because they're going to fly over the stadium.
Yeah.
And that's what those people were. They all had their cameras because they wanted to get shots of it. And that was the closest because the angle at which they were flying, it's the closest you get to that shot. And so we were sitting, getting ready to pull out onto Federal Way. I rolled the windows down and I was like, oh my gosh, look, kids. And as they're flying by, Dane, they're like this big in your field of view.
That's pretty big.
It's pretty close because then right after
outside of an air show, you don't get that.
Yeah. So that was cool. So they were like, whoa, because the planes are going by.
Well, in the A-10 station here, you often see them when you're leaving the airport or dropping in. People look over. I remember we had a guest recently who stopped by, and he was just really excited because he saw A-10s at the airport. It's like, I never see that. You guys get the cool planes here.
Yeah. There's a big battalion of A-10s here. But yeah, so they got to see that, and then we just kind of hung out, and then Sunday we carved some pumpkins. So we spent the morning carving pumpkins, me and the kids, and Carly, and then my parents both stopped by, so I had grandparents visits. My dad bought some pumpkins from Augie, and so he was very excited about that. And then they bought some corn stalks from Hadley.
Right, because you got some corn there, too.
Yeah, they wanted to use it for decoration. So that was a good little Sunday. It was nice out yesterday, so we just kind of sat out on the driveway.
It was more mild than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was warm, too. But we sat out on the driveway, carved some pumpkins, just had a good time. And then one of the things that the kids also got from my parents was cookie kits.
Oh.
So they made sugar cookies.
Of course.
For the evening. My dad, though, while we're sitting there talking, he goes, oh, you're doing what? You're going, when are you going to see him again? What day are you leaving? And I said, Tuesday or Monday the 1st, we're flying out. And then
so kind of interested in this.
Yeah, and I said, and we're flying back on Friday, so if you could help out Carly, that'd be great. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can't wait any longer, Julie, tells my stepmom. And he goes, I'm coming to SEMA. And I said, you are? And he goes, yep, me and Kevin, his brother.
Oh, boy.
So the two of them got their passes, and so they're going to come to SEMA. And they were like, my stepmom goes, he was going to try and keep his mouth shut, and he was going to surprise you in your booth.
Just like, sup?
Hey, what are you doing? And just as a surprise. And it's just fun. Like, my dad's excited because, we've gone to SEMA for almost a decade solid.
Yeah.
And back in the day, we started going back in like 2002, 2003. So Super fun to be able to go. And so I think he's excited to go again because he hasn't been since, gosh, probably 2011, 2012 was the last time he went. So
I think SEMA looked a little different.
I think it's going to be
then.
very different because even when last time I went, it's different. It's changed almost every year. It
and
changes
we have
now.
no idea what it's
Well,
going
and
to
this is the
look
new
like
West
this
Hall.
year.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting to see
new
too.
hall, but potentially far fewer.
Well, and I think
people
it'll
coming
probably be
through.
the volume of 2011 is what I'm thinking. It'll be he'll probably be like, oh, it was great. It felt like SEMA.
Which for the people
But
who
if
show
he
up,
hasn't been in over 10 years,
that's a lot of great
yeah.
opportunities to have more one-on-one time
Right.
with people that you want to talk
Yeah,
to, which is
but
great.
And for him, it might be exactly the same as what it was 10 years ago, in terms of size. So who knows? But anyway, so that was kind of fun. So he's very excited about that. And then
I'm
next weekend, Saturday, Augie is jacked. We're going to go see him. We're going to Monster Jam.
Oh, gonna see some trucks.
We're going to go see some monster trucks.
Nice.
And he's very excited because he told me last night, I just really love Gravedigger. I don't know what it is. I just love Gravedigger.
Hey, at least he likes a classic old school truck.
Dude,
like
he's got,
Gravedigger.
he's all about Gravedigger. He said his second favorite is El Toro Loco.
I remember El Toro Loco.
And then his third favorite is Zombie because of his
Zombie.
arms.
See, I used to go all the time in the 90s as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
it was super fun in the Seattle Kingdom and all that. But here we've got the Idaho Center. Is that where they're hosting?
Yeah, they're going to do it again. We haven't been in 2 years.
Okay.
Last time we went was the year before, probably that spring. It was almost 3 years ago.
But they do it indoors, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we were going to go during the pandemic. They had picked some dates in April because it would have been a year had gone by.
I'm sure they wound up canceling.
And then they
that or
canceled it
something.
because
Yeah.
March 16th, they basically
Yeah.
shut everything down. So we didn't get to go to that one. And so they're back. So we're going to go again.
Okay.
But Augie's only goals, eat cotton candy and watch monster trucks.
I mean,
That's his, he's so excited. And he said, I'm going to get a new Gravedigger mask this time. And I said, oh, you are? And he's like, yeah, I don't remember what happened to my last one. I said, it's upstairs in the toy closet. You have it. And he's like, yeah, but
it's just not the same.
I need to get a new one. Now, I will tell you, if you've ever
True
been to
consumer
Monster
right
Jam,
there. Oh.
you want to see the highest level of price gouging
it's
on
heinous.
the planet. It's insane. Absolutely insane.
It's probably kind of like I always liken the experience because I wasn't big into WWF, WWE kind of stuff, but I imagine it's very
probably
similar to
exactly
that.
the same.
Going to a monster truck show, it felt like more of a car guy's version of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I imagine it's very similar kind of environment.
Oh, it's like I remember like we went and I went to get Augie wanted cotton candy, right? So I walk up to get cotton candy and they're like, you get a mask for free. And I was like, okay, well, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
And the lady goes, all right, $27. And I said,
Ooh,
what?
for that piece of plastic?
It was a bag, Dane, this big. It was like the tiniest bag of cotton candy I'd ever seen and a mask, like a Halloween plastic mask.
Those two things together were nearly $30.
Yes. And then I was like, can I get a soda to give to my kids to share, like a Diet Pepsi? And she's like, yep, that's $8. And I'm like,
That feels like
wow, we didn't get anything.
My
And then
first time
dad-
going to a big
yeah.
concert as an adult, like
Oh,
X Fest or
not
something.
even
I'm
like
like,
that.
I'll have a beer, please. And they're like,
Yeah.
great, here's a plastic cup. That's $8. And that was in like,
Yeah.
God,
no,
that was-
it was one of those where
that was
it
a
was
long
like,
time ago.
there
That
are
was a lot of
children
money.
here, and I think they know that because they're like, oh, yeah, you need to buy stuff for your kids. And like, so my dad and I walked over to go look at the actual like merch booth that's huge.
Guys, this race fuel isn't cheap.
Oh, no. And so we walk over to look because Augie's like, I want to see if there's any like toys or anything. Dude, the toys you buy at like Fred Meyer's or like Walmart.
Higher quality.
No, it's the same toys.
Oh, it's just
It's like 4 times the price. It's like, hey, here's this Hot Wheels that you can buy for like $8-9 at Walmart, which is a lot.
yeah.
Right? And you're like, that's still kind of expensive.
And the kids
They've
looking
got it
at you with puppy
They've
eyes.
got it for like $36.
But they're looking at you like you're gonna make a
take it
kid
or leave
happy,
it.
right? You're gonna give them a good memory that they can take away,
Yeah.
take home with them.
Yep.
Because you're not a garbage father,
Oh,
right? You're
no,
not a terrible human
Oh.
being. You're gonna buy your child
Hey, you
a
wanna do
toy
a pit pass?
here so that they associate this toy with this memory.
I bought the tickets that are like farther back, they're in the same section where we sat last year or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But the fact is, like, it was still $39. $39. Yeah, right? $50 Gravedigger diecast.
Well,
right?
Scott, that's probably
Scott,
because they actually made that one with metal instead of plastic.
No, you could buy that for $10 on Amazon and eBay all day.
No, I'm saying their logic for why they're like, oh, this is clearly worth $30 more than the other one.
G. Davis says the same price gouging will occur when Dane rents out the van for prom season. Yeah, no.
I will be price gouging on that one.
My dad and I were dying looking at it. So Augie, right? So Augie's been selling his pumpkins, and he's got a little cash burning a hole in his pocket.
Uh-huh.
So we told him we told the kids they can't spend any money until Christmas because we have to be able to buy them Christmas presents. And now that they're both sitting on about $100 each, they're like,
it's just jumping
toys.
I could buy 1.5 things at Monster Jam.
Yeah, so I told Augie, hey, maybe save your money for something you want at Monster Jam, like another mask and cotton candy, because I don't know if I want to pay that. Like, I was dying because it's $40 a ticket, $39, no discount for children or seniors. My dad's a senior citizen, right? Like, no discounts.
Because they know their audience.
Well, it's because of the pandemic. So they're like, yo, it's done. We're $39.
Oh, you want to go to
Because when we went 3 years ago,
live event?
My dad was like, yeah, I got the senior discount for myself. I got the children's discount. We're on a matinee show. And he paid like $100.
I bet they still have military discount though, or something.
Probably. But the point is, like, last time they had the discounted pricing. This time they didn't. It was just like, you're buying 4 tickets and it's $39 and there's no other option.
Captive audience, you're the only show in town.
Now, you could pick and choose the angle of your seat. So, like, if I wanted to move over and be in the curve, it was like $37. But if I wanted to be direct line of sight of the monster trucks, I could be $39. Or if I wanted to be 50-yard line,
episode where he sits behind the pillar or something.
If I wanted to be 50-yard line, it was like $75.
Oh.
And then the other thing was if you want the pit pass to go down into the pit and hang out, it's another $50.
Ooh.
Go meet the drivers and get autographs and stuff.
Honestly, at that point, that almost seems worth it because it's just like, I've spent this much.
Then on top of that, this company that is providing the seats, like the ability to buy the tickets, they tacked on almost another $80 in fees, Dane, for the 4 tickets.
Was this like
$222 to take my kids to Monster Jam? 4 tickets.
What's the name of the ticket company?
Vivid.
Vivid Oh, no, that's a different.
Vivid Seats is the name of the company.
Oh, geez, going to have a field day with that one.
VividSeats.com.
Anyway, yikes. I was thinking like SeatGeek or... I remember...
Seats.
I used to get on the Jimmy Kimmel show one time. I got in seats that way, and they were free, though.
Yeah, no,
but it's one of those
most
companies.
Insane. I was already like, okay, get ready. Try and get the kids ready for this. Like, they're going to save some money. We can figure out. And then I go to buy the tickets, and my dad's like, I'm buying them. I'll write you a check. So get them ordered. So I go to order them, and then I'm like $22 for this. Like, this is nuts. It's insane. And I thought, I didn't buy 8 tickets.
But they know. See, they know their leverage is your child, who is a fan of this,
exactly what it
is a screaming, crying, snotty mess if you say no. Mm-hmm. And that's all they have to do is just wait you out. It's a war of attrition.
Yeah. So I surprised Augie. I didn't tell him about it. I didn't go like, hey, look, that's coming up. We should think about going. I just said, next Saturday we're going to Monster Jam. Okay. And he was like, oh my gosh, you know that I love Gravedigger.
And then as a dad, you go, don't say I don't do nice things for you.
Yeah, no, it was bad. On the couch front, though, Hadley yesterday decided to literally take the scissors and cut. Gosh, geez,
what?
That's a great one. Hadley literally took
instruction manual.
So he got the armrests on the couch, right?
We got to produce those videos.
Hadley took scissors and stuck it into the couch.
Hold up.
Sliced the fabric.
Not just one, but 2 children now are exhibiting couch stabbing qualities.
I think they're just trying to destroy these couches. I'm so glad I didn't buy those.
Is this a cry for help or what is this?
I don't know, but she cut the couch and I sat down Sunday morning and I was like, what the heck is this? who did this? And Augie's like, not me, and walks off.
And of course, your first assumption is
first assumption, I'm pretty sure it was you, bud. Right? So I'm like, Og, who did this? And he goes, wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. Hadley comes out, and I go, Hadley, who cut this couch? And she goes, I did. And I said, why? And she goes, because I had scissors in my hand. And I said,
what kind of logic is that?
That's not an excuse. You don't cut the furniture. And she goes, Augie does it all the time. And I was like,
oh, no.
So I had to have a talk with her about it.
Did she miss the part where you
tell
scolded
my wife,
Augie for having done that?
I had to scold her. I had to ground her. I had to threaten to take away the pumpkin carving.
Ooh.
That was about the only thing. She was stone cold, dead face, like, okay, whatever. Okay.
Which is, that's hard to work with until you find the pinch point.
So then I go,
you gotta find the pressure
well,
point.
then maybe we don't do pumpkins today. And then the tears started happening. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. So Carly,
sorry because you got caught.
Carly was,
you even outed yourself.
Yeah. So Carly, I said, thank you for telling the truth.
Yes, that part's good. Encourage that behavior.
Thank you so much for telling the truth and not lying to me about this.
Yeah.
And she's like, And so Carly taught her how to sew the couch.
Oh.
So she had to sew the stitch up.
Oh, man.
I hope it holds. Then I told Carly, she can't be picking at it. She's a picker.
Oh, no.
She's a subconscious.
Once it's there and you know it's there, it's just like a fixation.
So I was like, we just got to be careful that she doesn't pick that apart again. But Carly and I literally talked about it last night. We're like, I never in a million years thought that my children would be this destructive. And my poor couches.
It was funny when it was like, oh, Augie, couch stabber. But now that it's both, it's like, oh.
That's nuts. So anyway.
That's unfortunate.
These couches are, I think when we get our taxes back at the end of the year, I think I'm going to have to buy.
Couches?
Yeah, these are my nice couches.
Oh,
these are my nice ones. They're pretty much gross, Dane. They're dirty and damaged.
Is it time to go look at the Scandinavian outlet?
I can't afford them. I have to go to Fred Meyer's when they have a sale on couches.
Well, yeah, knowing what these kids will do to them.
I can't spend more than $300 on a couch because my kids are going to destroy it anyway. So, and these were I paid $1,500 for this pair. So I didn't even spend that much more. I spent $700 each.
You just need an armor-plated metal couch that's super uncomfortable. Put a few pillows on
it. I'm gonna have to go back
to
the 50s and do that visqueen, do the vinyl, the plastic clear
just basically
plastic
the
covers
protector,
on them.
and it'll just stab that instead.
Well, Carly and I talked about that. My grandmother has a couch that my sister has.
Yeah,
my sister's had it for 15 years. My grandmother had it for 50 years, and she reupholstered it a couple times, And I'm telling I look at Carly and I go, how are these couches, which we actually spent money this time, and these were scratch and dent already. They were normally $3,000. They were 50% off at RC Willie's. And we were like, holy crap, these are cool.
That's a big deal. You don't take that stuff lightly.
Right. So I'm like, we finally bought some nice couches for the living room of our new home.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. The family room or movie room upstairs will have the more comfy beat up couch.
The
so you can
lived-in couch.
Yeah. Which they broke also. So point is, I get the nice couches. They completely end up, might as well just be peeing on them. They're trashed, right? My couches are trashed. But then I tell my wife, I was like, is this an instance where we buy new couches or do we reupholster these couches? Right? Or do I do like G and build these stab-proof couches at the Scandinavian furniture store? I don't understand it.
It's like a professor's jacket. It just has selectively placed patches on it.
I have a patch of
cover
leather.
the portions that are really prone to. Otherwise, you got to pick up some Craigslist couches and keep the decoys out front while you have the nice ones hidden somewhere.
I don't have to I told Carly we
put it out in the garage.
Well, we have the TV. We have a TV in the living room.
Okay.
And I told Carly, I think that's the problem.
So if you take the TV away, then
kids don't.
They don't want to hang
out there.
Well, they might bring an iPad or something through.
I don't have any of those.
Okay, don't have any other screens they can bring through.
I've gotten rid of those.
Good. Okay.
They're banned from those.
Okay.
So
you need a
that's why I don't have gaming systems.
Have
that's
a
Wi-Fi
signal jammer in your living
room. I have Google Wi-Fi so that I can cancel certain things at certain times.
That device? Nope.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, needless to say, I feel like I have to create this totalitarian state.
Yeah.
Because this is why we can't have nice things. I'm going to have to build something else.
The Democratic Republic of Levi.
This is where you get to hang out. This is where your recreational area is. And
go out to the yard.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Mom,
out there
get
pumping
everything
iron.
nice. Yes,
Just matching.
We get the
uniforms.
real butter.
Oh boy!
You guys get the imitation lard.
Wait till your kids Shawshank their way out of there.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. So,
jeez.
Anyway,
well,
that
learned
was it,
something
Dane.
today. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Can't win. Couches can't win.
Okay, well, let us know when you find some couches that can withstand the abuse.
Yeah, if
of
you
some-
have a stab-proof couch at home or is made of Kevlar.
Or is
It'd be
this
great?
Is this something where maybe you'd buy kids scissors and leave them in the
No,
places where the kids
my
will
kids
find
have
them?
kid scissors. They still figured out how to. Augie's out there with a whetstone sharpening his kid scissors. So not sharp enough, Pops. Not sharp
my
enough.
God.
I gotta make this better.
Well, it's worth a thought, but okay, that's all set. You did teach him how to use a forge, so I think there's probably a little of that going on.
Oh, gee.
Gee, no. Wow. Okay. Well, I think that's a wonderful place for us to wrap up. Is there anything else you'd like
No,
to
that's
add?
it. Just make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, sign up for the newsletter so that you know when the sale drops, so you can pick up the new Halloween design T-shirt. And if you're on there, you're gonna have a picture of it on that newsletter email,
Yeah.
so that way you can see what it looks like. So you'll be the first to know.
It's pretty cool.
Get on it. Go to theragcompany.com, scroll down, sign up for the newsletter if you're not signed up yet.
Yes.
All right, Dane, take us
So
home.
go on, do that. And you know what? While you're at it, you're in your browser anyway. Pop over to YouTube, go to the Rag Company podcast YouTube channel. Click subscribe if you haven't done it already. And we got a couple other channels at the Rag Company YouTube channel and the Rag Company FAQ YouTube channel, both of which have new stuff coming out pretty regularly. So I would highly recommend checking it out if you enjoy watching and listening here. We got lots more stuff popping out all over the place. So check that out, and we will see you on the Rag Company YouTube channel for Q&A Thursday, this Thursday, coming up in just a few days. So we'll see you then. Have a great week. We'll catch up then. Bye-bye.
See ya.